Today you're in for a real treat. Pan-roasted chicken breast, baby bok choy, sauteed Girolle mushrooms, and a Cherry-Madeira puree. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe, and consider supporting us on Patreon. So let's begin. So we're going to start with a hot pan, neutral oil. We're going to start by cooking our chicken breast. So we're going to season the skin side, and then we're going to place the breast with the skin side down in the hot pan. Make sure you season the other side of the breast. So we're going to render some of the fat out of the skin and add some nice color. So after a couple of minutes, there should be some nice color on the skin. Add a couple of garlic cloves, some herbs. Today I'm using lavender, but rosemary, thyme works as well. Add a tiny bit of butter and flip over the breast. We're going to start cooking the other side. It's also a good idea to baste. The basting will make the inside of the chicken much more succulent and juicy, and we're also browning the outside. In almost every case in the kitchen, color is flavor. It's been about 5-6 minutes later. I've just inserted a cake tester into my chicken breast, and it's warm. I'm going to take it off the heat, take some of the cooking juices and butter, the herbs and the garlic, and I'm going to let this rest for about another 5 minutes. Resting meat is important. You may be tempted to cut this open right now. All of that flavorful juice will come right out. So we're going to get a new pan. This time we're using olive oil, and we want it to be on medium heat. And we're going to cook our garnish. So we're going to start with the Girolle mushrooms. Put a tiny bit of seasoning. Now Girolle mushrooms are fairly delicate. We don't want to overcook them. Girolle mushrooms have this beautiful natural flavor, and if you overcook them, the flavor will disappear. So you want to cook them very gently, saute them nice and easy. So you don't want to leave them in one spot. You want to saute them, move them around. So what we're going for here is a little bit of color, and we want the inside to remain a little bit firm. So if you cook these too long at a low temperature, they'll become soggy. So we've got about another minute or so before these are good to go. Now I'm going to add some baby bok choy leaves. They should be about the same size, and we can just place them in the pan alongside our mushrooms. So I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, add some salt to the bok choy, and now we want to do some very gentle cooking. So we want the thicker white part of the bok choy to cook, and we want the leaves to retain their color and not shrivel up too much. We want to wilt them, but we don't want them to disintegrate. So our mushrooms are perfect. We're just going to take them out of the pan, and our bok choy should be ready fairly soon as well. So you can start to see that the bok choy leaves are becoming darker green. They are wilting a little bit more, but the white part is still raw. So we're going to keep cooking these at low heat. So what we've been doing so far is adding a bit more flavor to the bok choy by sort of lightly roasting it. It's been caramelizing a little bit. Now we're going to finish the process by steaming. So we're going to put a tiny bit more nice quality olive oil and a tiny bit of water. And these will gently steam in the pan. Again, very slow cooking, very gentle. Now we don't want to drown the leaves. We're just going to put a little bit of water and oil at a time. And it's that little bit of steam that's going to do most of the cooking. So you can see the difference now. So these are just about ready. The leaves are cooked. The stems are cooked as well, but they still have a bit of a crunch. The color's nice. So now we're going to sprinkle some toasted sesame seeds on the mushrooms, and those will start releasing their flavor. So our chicken has rested. We're going to open it up. So I'm going to portion the chicken breast. So you can either serve 3 or 4 people with this size, or you can take the portion and then use the other pieces for another recipe. So I'm going to take this nice centerpiece here. So we've got those beautiful juices, beautiful white inside. The outside is perfectly brown. So now we're going to start plating. So we're going to start with our Cherry-Madeira puree. I have another video on how to make this. It's very simple. So the puree is not hot, but it's warm. I've left it in the squeeze bottle in some hot water right before plating. Give it a good shake, and it will be the perfect temperature. So we've just done some nice designs here, a couple of dots here and there, abstract. So we don't want to put too much puree on. It's quite strong, it's quite sweet, but I would say this is the perfect amount. So now we're going to start putting on our garnish. So we don't want to just pile it on, we want to build. So we're going to take different things, piece of bok choy here, mushroom there, and we're going to build. We want height, we want elegance. So have everything going in different directions. If there's a gap, you can always fill it in afterwards. And you don't want too much garnish, so that's about right there. We're going to put our nice piece of chicken on top. We're going to take some of the leftover cooking juices from the chicken, from cooking in the pan, and drizzle it on top. We're going to finish with some green herbs. You can use just about anything you want. But today I'm using some wild fennel and some pimpernel that I foraged for. It's for some nice, fresh, savory notes. So right before we serve, we're going to drizzle even more of the cooking juices from the pan. Just for a little bit of extra flavor. You can also see the piece of chicken just glistening in the light now. Beautiful. And there we are, ready to serve. Pan-roasted chicken, Girolle mushrooms, bok choy, Cherry-Madeira puree. You won't see these ingredients together too often, but trust me, it's absolutely delicious. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see further recipes and techniques, don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy cooking!